Hello everybody, my name is Sergiu. Today I want to talk about smartphones. I think I mentioned this in the last video. I've got a few older Nokia smartphones, and I got my Samsung Galaxy Note 9. And there are some things that I like about the older ones that I don't really like about the newer ones, and vice versa. And well, essentially my point is, right, try and describe a phone. What you're looking at basically is something like this, right? So you've got a screen, and well, you've got a screen basically at the front and the camera at the back, and that's basically what a phone is, right? Now let's have a look at this one. This is the Nokia E7. It's got a screen at the front, camera at the back. That's pretty much the same, right? Well, there's actually a catch. So if you look at this, it's got an actual QWERTY keyboard built into it, like actual buttons. Now that's one of my favorite things. Honestly, I wish I saw this on more phones. I'm aware that there's the Blackberries. I can't remember the model anyway, but I know that there is one that's got a QWERTY keyboard on it. And well, you know, too bad it's not much of a thing anymore. I wish I saw that on the newer ones. This one here is a bit of a funny story. This is the Nokia N900. So it was charging one day, and I dropped it basically while it was charging, and what happened was that the USB plug broke essentially off the motherboard. So, well, I could have thrown it away and bought a new one at the time, but it was obsolete already, because for quite a long time I went without a smartphone, well, without a new one anyway, newer one. So I had to basically just take it apart and solder a cable onto the motherboard, which I know is silly, but I saved it and it still works. This is my favorite phone. It's got roughly 260 something ppi per screen. It's 3.5 inch screen. The pixel per inch density is so high that, you know, even now you kind of have to stare at it from like a really close distance, or use a magnifying glass to see the pixels. And this is 2007. And also the other thing that's worth looking at is the fact that it's running the ARM Cortex A8 processor, and it's got 32 gigs of built-in memory. Also, it's got a card slot, which is micro SD, that can take another 64 gig if I'm not mistaken. So it's quite impressive for how old this thing is anyway. Here I got the 6230i. This is Nokia's first phone that could shoot video. It's a 3GP VGA video resolution if I'm not mistaken. It just looks like this basically. It's let me just unlock it. It's pretty basic, but it does have polyphonic sound. It has 1.3 megapixels at the back. It doesn't have a flash. Oh well, you know. This is the N93i. Now, this is a very fancy one. This came out with the N95 at about roughly the same time. It's you can basically, because it tries to be a video camera, and it is. It's got a 3.5 megapixel photo camera on it, and it can shoot 420p. And if you open it that way, 30 FPS. Yes, that is actual 30 FPS, which is quite impressive. You can, yeah, you can. It basically looks like a video camera, and it's also got 3 times optical zoom on it. And yes, it opens in all kinds of ways. You can have it like this. You can kind of just mess with it, and it's pretty cool. It works. I like it. I love it. I've used it before, and it looks very cool, I think, for its age. Just gonna put the lens cap back on, and yes, there is a lens cap. This is the Nokia N95 8GB. This is the one I fixed in the last video, and now it works. I liked it. It's got 3 keyboards basically on it. It's got one up here, and one up here on the front, and the numpad. Now, I think the main point here is that none of these phones look the same. Okay. They just don't, because even if you've got like just a screen on this one, for example, this is a resistive touchscreen. This will not work in portrait mode. It will only work in landscape mode, just like that. Well, unless you're calling. It's just that there is something about each of these phones that gives them a personality. Because back then, you wouldn't see 2 phones the same, and honestly, it's not just that. It's also the fact that you would look forward to new features every time. For example, this one has an FM transmitter on it, the N900, and like for real, you can actually use frequency modulation to transmit to your radio, in your car, in your hi-fi, in your whatever. And it works. And it's, you know, it's things like that just came out. Every model had something interesting about it. You know, that one had optical zoom. This one had 8 GB of internal memory, as opposed to the original N95, and it had a larger screen. You don't see this anymore. You know, some of these old Nokias, and not just the Nokias, the Sonys and the others as well, used to have xenon flash. You know, that's kind of, I think that's kind of why I just haven't used an actual smartphone for so long, because they were just not exciting anymore until the S8 came out, the Samsung S8 and the Note 8. Now, I knew about the Note. I knew that they had it's basically a collab between Wacom and Samsung, and I knew it was quite well, it's Samsung's flagship, the Note series, and I knew they were cool. It's nice that you can just pick it up and use them, but there is something that just made me feel like, yes, finally there is something about it that is new and exciting, just like back in the day when a new feature came out. And a lot of people don't know about this on the Note and S8, and the S series and Note series. From S8 onwards, is that all of them have a feature called the Samsung DeX desktop experience. Now, there is a dock that basically you plug this into, and I've got it at the back behind my TV, and I was just gonna show you on Google what it looks like. Let's switch to images, and if we type in Samsung DeX dock, and I'll show you what it actually looks like. So this is the one. So basically what you do is basically just plug your phone into it, and what it does is it changes the entire interface of the phone into a desktop interface. So it basically sits there and looks like a computer, like a desktop computer, and tries to act like one. And I think it does a pretty good job at it. That's the exact dock that I'm using, and what I'm also using with it is an extension cable, an extension Type-C, USB Type-C cable. Just plugs into it, and it comes out, and then plugs into the phone. Because I'm trying to keep this videos a bit shorter, I was just gonna plug in, and as you can see behind me, hopefully, it says no signal on the screen, and the reason why it does that is because nothing's plugged in, because it's set to the DeX at the moment. So if I unlock my phone, we should just gotta make sure it's actually plugged in properly. So that's your DeX coming up for you. And the way it works is actually quite, I think it speaks for itself, honestly, because you've got the actual desktop, the screen there, and the way you use it is basically a lot like a PC. So you can just browse around, you know, you can play music, you can read documents. I was probably just gonna play this. There's a track that I wrote the same one that I played in the first video with that old Dell computer that I using the same software, by the way. Yeah, so it just works just like that. Hopefully the audio is coming through, and it should do. It should do anyway. Right. So and you can do a lot of the stuff that you do with your computer. For example, you know, I could open my File Explorer, for example, and this is my this is the phone, essentially what you're looking at, and you can if I go to my home page, for example, I got my my main drive, well, my system drive, my card, basically my network. I can open the network, I can access computers in the network from here, and it's all plugged in through an actual network RJ45 network cable. So it's got an actual NIC. See, I can open that. I can see things. I can from here, basically it just works exactly like a computer. You can do your networking. You can do your say, I don't know, say you want to read a document, for example. I was just checking out this manual for an old tape recorder. But anyway, so say you wanted to print this out, right? You can just hit the menu and hit print, and it'll open essentially what is the a print the print preview thing, exactly like on a PC. So it's I think it makes a lot of sense for it to be used like this. And when I saw this come out, I said that basically, you know what, it just makes a lot of sense, and I just want it, basically. So I went and I bought the Note 8. Ever since I've upgraded to the Note 9, I didn't need to upgrade after the Note 9. I don't think I'm gonna upgrade anytime soon because it just works for me, and I replaced my laptop, which means a lot. So yeah, I think you know, I think it's pretty cool. And then finally there is something that came out on a phone that I felt like, yes, you know, there's something different, something awesome about it. And yeah, I think basically that's all I had to say today. I'm not gonna go through all the specs of these phones. They're all obsolete anyway, so it doesn't matter. We can make comparisons. If you really want to see more comparisons between them, let me know. I can make a video. That's fine. I don't mind. And speaking about making videos, I'm working on. I've downloaded DaVinci Resolve, and I'm trying to essentially learn it, basically, and I'll try and do some compositing and that kind of thing coming up, and I think, well, hopefully I'll get it right. But yeah, in the meantime, thanks for watching. I'm trying to keep this short, and hopefully today's video made some sense. And yeah, I'll see you next time, and I'll probably talk about well, I'll try and do some DaVinci Resolve stuff. I'll see if I can manage to get anything done in it. But yeah, basically, yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.